Hello and welcome back. I am Reverend Dr. Lori Williams, and today I'm going to talk to you about a question I was asked recently in regards to our demons, or spirits, sorry, actually demons. So before I get into this video, I do want to preface it by saying that this is just my experience. I have been able to connect and communicate with the deceased since August of 2016. Day of recording is end of December of 2024. So it's been a little over 8 years that I have had this gift. And it wasn't necessarily a gift at first. Like a lot of people, I was afraid. There's a lot to fear when you don't know. And I had to, like going through it, I had to go through it and figure it out for myself, which was not necessarily the easy path, but my path is actually why I try to educate people so that, that you're not afraid, especially children. Children, they are like bridges between the spirit world and the physical world being here on earth. Um, and I mean, it can be very, very scary when you don't exactly know what's going on. So that being said, to answer the question, are spirits actually demons? In my experience, absolutely not. In having the gift of being able to communicate with the dead, um, there is a perception that we as human beings have that looks a lot like what we have been told from movies, television, things like that, and it really isn't like that. There's not very many movies or TV shows that I've seen in regards to spirit communication that's actually a true and authentic depiction of what it's actually like. The first thing that I always feel from them is love, like absolute love. Now that's not from everyone. It's the same as like in real life, like in real life. I mean, it's all real life to me, but in the physical world, we our energy doesn't necessarily mesh with everyone. And there is people that, choose to do things or to be a certain way that just doesn't sit well with our energy. It doesn't mean they're a bad person necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with them. It just means that they don't mesh well with us. Now, I have had a few spirits that just their energy and my energy just did not mesh well. I can think of two off the top of my head. In 8 years, I mean, having two that fit that scenario are not hard. That's not a lot. That's not a hard and fast rule. I only actually ever had two experiences where the energy felt very low. I would not call it demonic, but just the person wasn't a good person in life, and they carried that energy into the afterlife as well. So, and I refused to connect with them. I mean, I did connect with them a little bit, but the person I was doing the reading for was like, you know what? If you don't want to talk with this person anymore, their energy just feels very heavy, not demonic, not there's no attack on me. I've never ever had an attack on me. What you see in like movies and on television and stuff where like things are flying across the room. I've had things fall off a shelf, but not to a point where it's like flying at my head or anything like that. I've never had anything like that happen at all. The truth of it is when we cross over, we go to a place that literally is only love energy, which is one of the highest vibrational energies that there is. When you go to this place that's love energy, now there's different levels of this love energy for sure, but when you go to a place where there's love energy, how could it be demonic? And to me, my opinion is knowing what I know and the work that I've done over the last 8 years, it's our free will and free choice that allows us to be more demonic than what our spirit allows us. Our spirit is our soul essence. That's what we go back to when we're no longer in the physical body. And that's part of us is 100% pure, and God, universe, whatever you want to call it, that's the part of us that we are a reflection. Our soul is God or the universe, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it God for the sake of this video. It's God experiencing itself in human form. You don't get any more pure and loving than that. It's our free will and free choice as human beings that can make us demonic, that can make us be less than human. So, all of that being said, in the 8 years that I have been able to communicate with the non living, the non human form, the non human form, non physical, um, I've experienced far more demonic um, realizations or sat back and watched these demonic things unfold, not necessarily in my life, but in the world at large, than I've ever experienced in connecting with the dead. The one thing about having this gift of being able to communicate with the non-living is that if I don't like the energy, I can disconnect from it. I don't have to sit there and make myself feel uncomfortable or cause myself any kind of pain. The only kind of time I ever feel pain is spirits will make me feel how they died. So I know what it feels like to be shot. I know what it feels like to have a heart attack. I know what it feels like to have cancer. All of these things. And honestly, it's just a matter of, because they're no longer in the physical, they can forget that, I'm a human being. Because they're not connected to my physical body, they're connected to my soul aspect. So they can come on a little strong. Now, my physical body doesn't like that. If it actually is causing me a lot of pain, um, I will ask them nicely once to back off. Like, this hurts. You need to stop. Um, if they don't listen the first time, the second time I was like, okay, you need to stop now. And if there will not be a third time, if they're not listening to that, I give them literally a split second. If they're not listening to that, I disconnect from them. But the truth of it is our soul is the most loving part of us. And it does not make any logical sense to me, knowing what I know, to think that godlike part of us, when it's no longer in the physical body, could be demonic. It doesn't make sense. Now, there is some people that's their belief system, and that's totally fine. That's what you believe, then that's what you believe. Honestly, if that's what you believe, this video is not for you. But the truth of it is as someone who can communicate with the dead, um, and has done for many years on many different levels, um, that's just not something that they're capable of. As humans, we're absolutely capable of it. As spirits, we're not. I hope that answers any questions and helps you to understand that there really is nothing to be afraid of when it comes to being able to communicate with the non living. If you are someone that you can feel spirits or see spirits, hear them, whatever, and you're afraid of them, just know that as the human being, you have far more capability. And if you don't want them around you, if they're making you feel uncomfortable, just because most of the time as human beings, we fear what we don't understand, then you can tell them to leave. And they're not going to get upset with you about that. They're not going to be like throwing anything at your head. So, all of that being said, I hope you found this video educational and that it's helped to maybe broaden your understanding of what spirits are and how they communicate with us. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you back here next time.